The cold bit at Daniel's cheeks, a sharp reminder of the harsh reality he now faced every day. The once familiar warmth of his apartment was now a distant memory, replaced by the biting chill of the open air. He huddled deeper into his thin jacket, trying to find some semblance of warmth. The jacket, once a stylish piece of his wardrobe, now seemed woefully inadequate against the elements. The park bench was hard and unforgiving, a far cry from a mattress, let alone the apartment he once had. Each night spent on the bench left him with aching muscles and a longing for the comfort he once took for granted. How did he get here? The question echoed in the silence of the dawning day. It was a question he asked himself repeatedly, each time hoping for a different answer, but always coming up empty. He looked at the people bustling by, their lives seemingly untouched by the struggles that now defined his existence. They moved with purpose, unaware of the man who watched them from the shadows. Did they see him? Did they know his story? He wasn't always homeless. There was a time when he was just like them, walking briskly to work, laughing with friends, planning for the future. He used to have a good job, a loving girlfriend, a future. His days were filled with meetings and deadlines, his evenings with love and laughter. He had dreams, ambitions, and a clear path ahead. But life had a way of throwing curveballs. The stress began to mount, the pressures of work and personal life intertwining in a way that became increasingly difficult to manage. He lost his job first. The company downsized, and he was just a number on a spreadsheet. The news hit him like a ton of bricks, shattering the foundation of his carefully constructed life. The company downsized, and he was just a number on a spreadsheet. The termination notice felt impersonal, a stark contrast to the years of dedication he had given. Then came the fight with his girlfriend. The stress of unemployment took its toll on their relationship, leading to arguments that grew more frequent and intense. She couldn't handle the stress, the uncertainty. She left. Her departure was a blow he hadn't anticipated, leaving him feeling more alone than ever. His apartment, once a sanctuary, became a constant reminder of what he had lost. The walls that once echoed with laughter now felt like a prison, filled with memories of happier times. Daniel closed his eyes, the memories still raw. He was ashamed, embarrassed. The weight of his failures pressed down on him, making it hard to breathe. He had always been a provider, someone who took care of himself. He prided himself on his independence, his ability to navigate life's challenges. Now, he was sleeping on park benches, relying on the kindness of strangers for a meal. Each act of kindness was a lifeline, a reminder that humanity still existed in the world. The shame was a heavy weight, threatening to drag him under. It was a constant companion, whispering doubts and fears into his ear. But somewhere deep down, a flicker of hope remained. It was faint, but it was there, a small light in the darkness. He just needed to find a way to rekindle it, to turn that flicker into a flame, to find his way back to the life he once knew. The journey ahead was daunting, but he was determined to take it one step at a time. The job loss had been a shock. It was a moment that Daniel had never anticipated, a sudden and jarring end to what he thought was a stable career. One day, Daniel was a respected software engineer, contributing to a team, building a future. He was part of a dynamic environment, surrounded by innovation and creativity. His days were filled with coding, brainstorming sessions, and the satisfaction of solving complex problems. The next, he was clutching a cardboard box filled with his belongings, a pink slip burning a hole in his pocket. The office that once buzzed with activity was now a silent reminder of what he had lost. The company, once a beacon of innovation, had become another casualty of the volatile tech industry. The layoffs were swift and merciless, leaving many like Daniel in a state of disbelief and uncertainty. He tried to stay afloat. Each day was a battle against the rising tide of bills and responsibilities. The stress was palpable, gnawing at him as he tried to find a way out of the financial quagmire. He depleted his savings, meticulously stretching every dollar. The once comfortable cushion of his bank account dwindled rapidly, forcing him to make tough choices about what he could afford. He went on countless interviews, his resume polished, his answers rehearsed. Each interview was a glimmer of hope, a chance to reclaim his place in the workforce. But the rejections piled up, each one chipping away at his confidence. The polite refusals and impersonal emails became a constant source of frustration and self-doubt. The rent loomed over him like a dark cloud. The threat of eviction was a constant worry, adding to the already overwhelming stress of his situation. He sold his belongings piece by piece, clinging to the hope that he could buy himself more time. Each item sold was a painful reminder of the life he was losing. But time, it seemed, was not on his side. The days blurred together, each one bringing him closer to the edge of despair. The fight with his girlfriend Sarah was the final blow. Their arguments became more frequent, the stress of their situation driving a wedge between them. They had always been a team, supporting each other through thick and thin. Their relationship had been a source of strength, a partnership built on mutual respect and love. But the stress, the uncertainty, had taken its toll. The constant pressure eroded the foundation of their relationship, leaving them both feeling isolated and overwhelmed. She couldn't handle the pressure of being his sole support system. The weight of their financial struggles and his emotional turmoil became too much for her to bear. The night she left, his world crumbled. The loneliness was suffocating, the silence of their once shared home a stark contrast to the life they had built together. He found himself on the streets, adrift in a sea of uncertainty and despair. The future that once seemed so bright was now a distant memory, replaced by the harsh reality of his new existence. One chilly afternoon, seeking refuge from the biting wind, Daniel wandered into the local library. The cold had seeped into his bones, and he was desperate for a place to warm up, even if just for a little while. The warmth enveloped him, the scent of old books a comforting aroma. It was a stark contrast to the harsh, unforgiving world outside. The library felt like a sanctuary, a place where time stood still. He hadn't been in a library in years. The sight of the rows upon rows of books brought back a flood of memories. As a child, he had devoured books, escaping into fantastical worlds and thrilling adventures. Each book was a new journey, a new experience that broadened his horizons. But somewhere along the way, he had lost that connection. Life had taken over, with its relentless demands and unending challenges. He settled into a chair, the silence a welcome change from the cacophony of the streets. The quiet allowed him to think, to reflect on the twists and turns his life had taken. He picked up a magazine, flipping through its glossy pages. It was a simple act, but it felt like a small step towards reclaiming a part of himself. An article caught his eye, "How to Start Your Own Business." The headline was bold, promising a new beginning. He scoffed. Starting a business was the furthest thing from his mind. It seemed like a dream for someone else, not for a man in his situation. He was homeless, jobless, hopeless. The weight of his circumstances bore down on him, making the idea of starting a business seem laughable. Yet something about the article drew him in. It spoke of possibilities, of taking control of one's destiny. He devoured the words, his mind racing with possibilities. Each sentence seemed to ignite a spark within him, a spark that had long been extinguished. He had always been tech-savvy, a skill he honed during his days as a software engineer. Those days felt like a lifetime ago, but the knowledge was still there, buried beneath layers of doubt and despair. What if he could use those skills to create something of his own? The thought was both terrifying and exhilarating. The thought, once preposterous, began to take root. It was a seed of hope, fragile yet persistent. He spent the rest of the afternoon researching, his fingers flying across the keyboard. The more he read, the more he believed that maybe, just maybe, he could turn his life around. The library, once a refuge from the storm, became a launchpad for his dreams. It was here, amidst the quiet and the books, that Daniel found a glimmer of hope, a reason to believe in a better tomorrow. Section 4. Scrambling for a foothold. Daniel knew that turning his life around wouldn't be easy. He needed a plan, a way to generate income while he built his web design business. So, he swallowed his pride and took on odd jobs. He walked dogs, delivered groceries, cleaned apartments. Every dollar earned was a victory, a step closer to his goal. He meticulously budgeted his earnings, denying himself any luxuries. He slept on friends' couches, grateful for a roof over his head. He spent his nights at the library, honing his skills, building his portfolio. He taught himself new programming languages, devoured books on web design, and practiced his craft tirelessly. He knew he had a long way to go, but he was determined to succeed. He refused to let his circumstances define him. He was no longer just a homeless man. He was an entrepreneur, a builder, a fighter. He had a purpose now, a reason to wake up every morning with fire in his belly. Section 5. A flicker of passion. Web design. Word of mouth spread. People heard about the homeless guy who could build websites. Small business owners, initially hesitant, were won over by Daniel's passion and his surprisingly affordable rates. He poured his heart and soul into every project, working late into the night, fueled by coffee and a burning desire to prove himself. He found joy in the creative process, in taking a client's vision and translating it into a digital reality. He built websites for cafes, bookstores, and local artists. Each successful project boosted his confidence, solidified his belief in himself. He was good at this. More importantly, he loved it. It wasn't just a way out of homelessness, it was his calling. The money he earned went straight back into his business. He upgraded his equipment, bought software, and invested in online courses to further his skills. He knew he couldn't stay a one-man show forever. He needed to scale, to build something bigger than himself. Section 6. Carter Digital Solutions takes flight. With a growing client base and a solid portfolio, Daniel knew it was time to take his business to the next level. He rented a small office space, a far cry from the park bench where his journey began. He named his company Carter Digital Solutions, a testament to his own resilience and his commitment to providing digital solutions for businesses of all sizes. He hired his first employee, a talented young web developer he had met at a local tech meetup. He invested in marketing, spreading the word about his company's services. He knew that to compete in the cutthroat world of web design, he needed to be more than just good. He needed to be exceptional. And exceptional he was. Carter Digital Solutions quickly gained a reputation for its innovative designs, its client-centric approach, and its commitment to delivering results. Daniel's story resonated with people. He wasn't just a CEO, he was a survivor, a testament to the power of perseverance and the indomitable spirit that resides within us all.